Hey, what up, guys? This is a not an Adonis review. I'd call it more maybe of an Adonis tip. I thought I would just throw in my 2 cents about VR nausea. I'm pretty vocal about how I believe VR will be the future of gaming, and how the original PSVR I felt like was a novelty, something you could show your friends and families, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is cool," or you put it on and be like, "Oh, this is neat," but it wasn't something that was going to replace what typical great game. But playing the VR2, it really shows how the medium, you know, can be, and how VR, Ready Player One basically will be the future. But I feel like, and one of the things I said even before, when I was just in the VR one times, that one of the biggest things I think holding it back is the fact that people get such difficult nausea when it comes to putting on VR. And I was one of the main candidates. There was just one point in my life where all of a sudden I couldn't ride roller coasters anymore without getting nauseous. Like, anything that could get you nauseous, I got nauseous. I just kind of accepted that was my life. I guess I, reached a certain age where I just couldn't hang anymore, and that was it. And VR was a part of that as well. And that was why I thought, well, there's no way VR could be the future, because it just gets you too nauseous. Like, people can't hang. And that's the end of it. Like, no matter how great it is, you have all these people that get nauseous and can't play it. Like, it's a done deal. But eventually I conquered it, and I'm just going to give you a few tips that I did to conquer my VR sickness from a person who had no proclivity to be able to handle motion sickness at all and would always get destroyed. So now I can play VR for 12 hours straight and not feel anything at all ever. I completely forget it. And it's not until people try it at my place that I realize it's a thing again. And they're like, "Oh man, I'm dizzy. I can't play anymore." I'm like, "It's been like 3 seconds. What are you talking about? You're dizzy. Like, I still have like an hour of shit to show you." And so it reminds me, like, "Oh yeah, like this is the problem still." I completely forgot. So here's what I would do, and what I did if playing VR gets you nauseous. Now, unfortunately, it's not a day one fix, but it is a fix that allows you, I guess, to play your VR and eventually get better, hopefully, at least in my opinion. Now, first, I guess there's a few simple things that you could do that will, I guess, help this beginning process. First, I always try to keep it cool whenever I play, cooler than what it normally is. Like, if I have my apartment set at a normal degree, just when I'm watching TV or playing typical games, I'll want typically a little bit colder with a fan on me when I play VR. Especially one, because you have the headset on and that gets you hot. It's like wearing a blanket or a turban on your head or something. Like, it's going to heat up your head even more so. So that's inconvenient. So you want to be cooler to kind of offset the fact that you have a helmet on, along with the fact that you're just gonna feel better. Like, the hotter you are, you're gonna feel uncomfortable, and if you feel uncomfortable, it's gonna make all other uncomfortableness feel worse. So try to keep a fan on you and keep it cool in your house when you play to offset that heat uncomfortability. Another way some people say to do it is to, like, there's games that are less difficult to play than others, which you should try. It's typically like a lot of those third-person games, like Boss or Astrobot, or games where typically you don't move a lot of places, like maybe Beat Saber, I heard is good. Super Hot or whatever. Anything like that typically will be less moderate. There's some places you could probably look up what games have higher, intensities when it comes to getting you sick than others. So I would look it up too. Maybe that helps. I didn't really look into that when I first did. I just play what I bought, but if you're really having a hard time, you want to do it the best way possible. See if there's a game you want to play that might be easier first. Also, VR comes with pre-made adjustments that you could use whenever you're in the settings. One's like, it's like motion smoothness compared to like teleporting. I do motion smoothness. I hate teleporting in a game, but the reason that teleporting is in there is because it's easier to teleport A to B. So if you want to prevent the motion sickness and nausea, the most with the highest probability of not getting it, you're supposed to have it on teleporting. And also something called Vignette or something like that, which is basically like the darkness around your eyes. And essentially, to avoid nausea, you want like the darkness as big as possible. You want like to have the tiniest hole possible you can see at, like your whole peripheral is blocked. And then obviously the better you get, the more you can open up the darkness around it, so you can see out your peripherals more and more. But if you're just starting off, typically you want it, you want to cut off all peripherals and keep your sight as narrow as possible to get less sick. Now, lastly, and like I said, those are all in your VR settings. So like I said, keep teleporting on and the Vignette or whatever it's called, maximum or whatever. But here's the main thing. Again, it's simple, I guess, but it's really what I kind of decided to do. And once I decided to do it, and kind of handle my level, eventually, I essentially trained my way into never noticing sickness ever again. And that's just playing very little every day. So basically, I made an agreement with myself that I'm only, basically on a base level, it was like I'm gonna play 30 minutes of VR a day. That was kind of like my base level, But in a simpler term, if you want to even go simpler than that, the main thing I try to do when first starting off getting better in VR, because I had all these VR games that I had, basically that's how it started. I had these VR games that I had that I wanted to beat, but I couldn't hang playing them. But it's like I wanted to finish them, but I couldn't finish them because I was getting nauseous. So what I told myself is like, well, what if I just beat one mission a day? So I'll pick a game, and I'll, beat one mission in that game. Typically, a normal mission in a VR game is not going to take longer than 30 minutes. It typically takes anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. So, if it takes me 20 minutes to beat a mission, awesome. If I feel like that accomplishes it, I'll turn it off, and I feel, maybe I'm getting motion sickness at that point. Like, okay, I'm done. If I feel like I can do more, I maybe keep it on. But typically, if you stick around 30 minutes, for one mission every day, eventually you'll keep doing that until you won't feel it anymore. And then obviously you can do those other things I mentioned beforehand in the meantime as well to kind of offset it while first beginning. But yeah, like I said, one mission a day. Start off like that. Just every day, do one mission. I'm going to do one mission in whatever VR game I choose. Do that mission. Next day do the next mission. Next day do the next mission. Typically there's only 10 missions, so within a week or two, you'll beat that game, go to your next game, stuff like that. Eventually you won't notice anymore. That's what I did. Now I don't have it. I don't know if I can ride roller coasters now. I don't know if it transfers over, but like I said, I can play VR for hours and nothing happens. So give it a try. If that works for you, let me know. If not, sorry. If something else works, let me know. I'd love to hear maybe another opinion. Maybe it was something else I was doing and I didn't really notice it. Thanks, guys.